Well, hello, everybody. Hope everybody's having a fantastic day so far. We have been streaming so many great interviews all day today. If you haven't listened to any, listen to Tonya and I talk today, but then I highly encourage you guys to go back and listen to everything from Tokes in Nigeria to Tony Cook to the Hadabas and just get connected to what they've said and what the Beamers have shared. But I have the honor and privilege of talking to Tonya Carsten today. Today, what we're doing is celebrating 29 years in ministry for Club 1040. Wow. 29 years ago, Matt and Julie Beamer left Michigan to go over to the UK to go to Liverpool. My absolute favorite story is them talking about that they literally left with no money in their wallet. I mean, they had a couple $100. They just bought a plane ticket and they landed in Liverpool. And we get to celebrate the impact that the partners in the Club 1040 has made over the last 29 years. So in part, we get to talk to Tonya Carsten about her involvement in Club 1040 and her ministry. And so Tonya, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I've enjoyed watching all of this all day today.
Good. So tell everybody where you are from and what you and your husband do.
Okay. We are from Traverse City, Michigan, and we've lived here about 13 years now. We pioneered this church in 2013 was our first service in May of 2013. And we've been here ever since, and we're loving what we're doing. We have a great group of people that we're working with. And so that's where we're at. We have 2 grown kids and 5 grandkids.
Oh, how fun. Yeah. I love that. So how did you meet the Beamers? Was it at Rhema or was it in Michigan, or how was that connection?
It was, even though they're from Michigan, we're obviously from Michigan as well. We didn't meet them until my husband and I worked with my in-laws in another town here in Michigan. Mm-hmm. And Matt and Julie were actually coming to their church to, I believe at the time, if I recall correctly, was to get support as they were going to start the church over in England. So that was the first time I got to really know them about their ministry. And ever since then, it's just kind of progressed from there.
Oh, I love that. So I know this story already, but I think it's so impactful. So I want you to share one of your favorite memories that you have with the Beamers.
Okay. It was kind of a traumatic story in the very beginning, but it's turned out really well now. After we worked with my in-laws for a bit, we ended up working with Matt and Julie for about 2 years before we came up to Traverse City. Mm-hmm. And at that time, I was kept more to myself, loved to do the backside of ministry and wasn't really a front type person. Mm-hmm. And there's something about Matt and Julie that love to pull things out of people. Yes. They see things in people that people might not see in themselves. And so we happened to be on a trip in Egypt with them as they were getting ready to do the Bible school there in Egypt, and as well as Abuja. But at this time we were in Egypt, and Matt had kept asking me, would you please lead prayer, teach a little bit on prayer and lead prayer for the students? And I'm like, no. Maybe another day. So this happened for about 5 days in a row. I kept saying, maybe another time, maybe another time. Well, the very last time that I had a feeling Matt was going to ask me again, I thought, I'm just going to excuse myself. So I quietly left the room, left that floor, and went to the highest floor of that building, and went and hid in a closet. So here I am now, pastoring a church, helping my husband pastor a church, and I'm hiding in a closet on a 5th floor building, just because I was terrified to do that. So yeah. I waited for a bit, thinking that, I'm cleared, prayer has already started. Well, what I didn't know was Matt did some of the formalities before. So I came back in the room thinking, okay, we're ready to go. And as I go to sit down, Matt said, we have a guest that is going to come in, share a little bit on prayer, and then lead us in prayer. And I'm like, oh, who's this guest? And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's me. So I ended up leading prayer and sharing that morning. And so that was one of the first things that I was like, Matt, I'll never I'll never forget that. First, I'll never forget it because it was traumatizing. But secondly, I'll never forget it because with him and Julie kind of, pulling those things out of people,
Yeah.
drawing them out, it made me realize there's more in me than what I even thought was capable of doing.
Yeah.
So I'm really grateful for the relationship and friendship we've had with the Beamers over the several years. I
Yeah.
think we've known them for over 25 years, I believe. So
Wow.
they're great people. They're the great people for doing what they're doing over there in the Middle East right now.
I love that. So Tonya and I went on to Lebanon together last year. So it's fun that we get to do this interview. I'm wearing my Hello Beautiful shirt for a beautiful 1040. And I just know that it's so fun because the Beamers are so incredible at pulling gifts out of people
Yes.
through even uncomfortable moments.
Yes.
And to this day, that story that you share is still one of my favorites because I love that. So let's talk about your backstory a bit. Did you and your husband attend Bible college here in the States?
We did. After we got married, we served, like I said, we served in my in-laws church for a couple of years before.
Mhm.
We felt in our heart to go to Rhema USA. So we went to Tulsa for the 2 years
Okay.
in 94, 96, graduated in 96.
Oh, how fun. And what program did you guys graduate with?
Well, let me back that up. He graduated. He went for youth. I
Okay.
only went 1 year because I had a newborn.
Yeah.
But so I had, 2 kids at the time, but one was newborn. So I only went just the first year just to see, what he was going to experience. But he actually went for youth, and he came back to Michigan and worked with youth, but then that's not where he ended up.
Yeah.
It was Rhema USA.
Oh, that's awesome. So what if, and you can pull off of Jody's experience too, what do you feel like was one of your biggest ahas or takeaway that you experienced while you guys were at the Bible college?
So many great experiences, great moments. But one of the things that I really loved about the Bible school itself was, I think sometimes people think Bible school is only for people that are going to go into ministry.
Yeah.
The pastor, evangelist, you go through all of that. But what I found was, what I loved about the school was this was for an everyday person, an everyday mom, school teacher, whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
That what's preached there, what's taught there is practical for everyday Christian living. So even though I knew the Bible, I had a relationship with the Lord all these years, it was like the Bible came alive, and it was such a in-depth study for myself. But again, it was for the average. At that time, I was just going to be a mom, and so I was okay with that. But the truths and the biblical principles that I got from just attending Bible school was life-changing across the board, that the word of God will work for anybody. And that's what was so impactful, was that you don't have to have a title to minister or to hear the biblical truths for everyday living.
I love that because anytime I also attended to Rhema and graduated from there, and it was having that foundation in my life has been so monumental to just move me forward, in every decision making, whether it was through ministry or through business or my marriage. Knowing the truths that I was taught there helped me make decisions in my everyday life. And knowing I had that foundation, that structure was so impactful for me. So I totally understand that. I love hearing that story. So like I said, you and I went to Lebanon together this last year. I can't believe that it was just this past May. Can you believe that?
Seems like forever ago.
I know. And so we went with the beautiful 1040 team to Lebanon, and we got privileged to experience the culture and the people and the MENA team over there. So wanted to ask you, what part of the trip left, if you could pick one or two, left the biggest impression on you over there in Lebanon?
There's a couple things. 2 things on the MENA side of the team. I was so thoroughly impressed with the team themselves. With listening to Christelle this morning, we're talking, and just hearing her heart and hearing her story. We've heard her story when we were over there, but just
Good.
hearing what the Lord's done. But the solid team that they have right there, just in that short amount of time with the Hadabas and all that, I was thoroughly impressed by not just the knowledge of running things, but how much they've taken the biblical truths themselves, are actually living them. And you can see that. So that side of it, I was very impressed with how Matt and Julie have all, put the team together and really worked with that. So there was that side of it. But as far as the culture over there, I love the people over there. So I had a preconceived idea when I went there, because I've been to Egypt and Lebanon. So I was picturing Lebanon similar to Egypt, in which I was quite surprised that it's not. But the people over there are just beautiful people. I was just they're so loving, just, and so receptive of the love of God. There are so many moments, but I remember specifically going to a few of the churches and seeing how, even though it's a different culture, the love of God there it's the same love of God here. The same God here is the same God there. There's still a hunger. There's still a desire to know him. So that to see the oneness and the unity of the Spirit of God was really amazing, but also to be able to go into the homes of some of the people and just to hear their heart and be able to pray with them and love on them. Just that was some of the most precious things for me to experience, was to be on one-on-one with the people there, just to hear their heart and know that they're human, they're people. So
I love that. I know on the home visits, when we got back, it's like we were delivering packages of things for them to have supplies, meaning that we knew that they were limited already. And even still, I was being offered every little bit that they had left. Can I give you coffee? Can I give you, any little biscuit or snack or something? Because the heart of the people there were, do you want to sleep in my home?
Yes.
Do you want to sleep in my bed? Can I make you food? It was, I love you. I want to be in relationship with you. And with CLUB1040 being a relational missionary movement, it just felt so connected there. Matt Hadabaugh said this morning in his interview. He goes, it's funny because Lebanon's kind of shaped in a key, right? And we know that Lebanon and Beirut is a key to us reaching all 22 nations. And it's just fun to be able to see how the people in Lebanon, the local people in Lebanon, are the instrumental portion in all of this, and being able to be in their homes. It just was so special.
I agree with that 100%. They were so giving of themselves, even though we're there to give of ourselves. They're like, well, no, we want to give to you. I would also say too, one of the very impactful things was our bus driver. Which I, in the very beginning, didn't know that he didn't have a relationship with the Lord. I didn't know that. We later found out. But what I loved about it was he was very observant to everybody. And then the last night we were all able to share a little bit more about God with him. And he was very open and receptive. So that was another moment that we all had fun with.
I know. Well, and a sneak peek into beautiful 1040 trips, we're on the bus. This bus driver has taken us everywhere. We're a fun group of girls, and he's like this military, very clean cut, strong man, right? And I jokingly said, I wish you had a microphone for karaoke. And what does he do? He pulls this microphone out the front of the bus and hands it to us. And the beautiful 1040 team was singing karaoke. And then the last night, we have a video of him singing Adele. This Lebanese man is singing Adele karaoke with us, which is honestly one of the best parts of the trip.
And he was having a blast.
He was. I still have the video. You can hear him singing. It was awesome.
It was great.
I actually have Kayla Mora was on that trip too, and she gave this to me. It says Yalla.
Oh, that's the best.
It's in Lebanon. It means let's go. And I keep that on my desk because it just impacted me so much. I just love that trip.
It was a blast.
So knowing the Lebanese people and being able to experience the culture in Lebanon and in Beirut. And then knowing your experience in the Bible college, how important do you believe it is to have a Bible college in Lebanon?
I think it's extremely important, especially if that's being the hub of all the other places for the
Yeah.
word to go. One of the things too that I think Matt and Julie had told us years ago when we were talking with them was it's good to train up people in their own countries because, you
Yeah.
know, if we can't be there or somebody else with
Yes.
the language can't be there, it's good to have the ones that speak the language right there. So training up and multiplying.
Yeah.
But I think too, the biblical truths that so many of us have got from going to Bible school is the foundation, as you had mentioned. Once we get that ourselves, for the locals to understand that themselves, it's so much easier for them to go into their areas, into their neighborhoods, because missionaries, I can't always be there. I mean, you have a great team in there right now, but to have the locals be able to speak the language in their culture, and it's easy to multiply it that way. I love what you said was this is a year of multiplication, and you can see what's happening. I just love that. But just to get the biblical truths there in Lebanon, where the word of God can multiply and just kind of reverberate across the waves out there, it's definitely going to be beneficial, as you've already seen with Christelle and so many other people, how the word has impacted their lives. It's good to have boots on the ground right there.
Yeah, I love that. I'm CLUB1040. What we want is to mobilize local leaders, right? So if we have the people there training people, but then you're making the locals there understand the truths of Jesus and understanding that foundation in their hearts, then you're sending people. You could never in your wildest dreams send yourself into all these spots, right? We know we can't do it alone. That is why CLUB1040 is here, is to build relationships, build, localize, and mobilize local leaders. And that's what this Bible college is doing. And that makes me want to hop on a plane and get to Lebanon. I'm like ready to go see everybody.
But everything that they're doing over there is so strategic. Even while we were there in May, or I think it was May, when we were there, just having their team meetings and their prayer services, and they have the heart of the people there to empower them and equip them with biblical truths that when nobody else is there, they still have a foundation. God is there. And once they have that, it just makes everything so much easier. But the fact of how much effort and training and resources that goes into this to make something successful, to be able to train up and equip all these leaders, is you can see it across the board in everything that CLUB1040 does.
I love that. Do you happen to have like a story of one on how you've seen a Bible college affect someone else's life, or how you saw Bible college affect your and Jody's life?
Yeah. I know when we were, as I had mentioned, when we were with Matt and Julie in 2010, I believe it was, we were over in Abuja and Cairo. But when we were in Nigeria with Matt and Julie, Pastor Tokes now, he wasn't pastoring at the time, and they were just doing all their meetings. But I remember being around the group of people there, and just to see what the word has done for Tokes, and to see what is happening with Abuja. What's happening over there. It was 6,000 students or something like that. Yeah. I mean, that's that alone.
Incredible.
But it really is. But one of the things that really stuck out to me was when we were in Egypt, at the time, there were some students there that were so hungry to hear biblical truths. We're so hungry to hear, and see Brother Hagin, everything about Brother Hagin. And they wanted to meet him. But I remember specifically, my husband was talking to a gentleman there, and he was giving him a book. I following the Pursuit of God. I don't remember the name of it, but he was talking to him about this book, and this individual just started to cry. He said, "I've always wanted to meet Brother Hagin personally, but I'll never be able to." He says, "But listening to you," and he's talking to my husband, he said, "listening to you and hearing you relay everything that was taught in Rhema, Tulsa, I feel like I've met Brother Hagin, because
Oh,
of the biblical truths that were given through
yeah,
school there. So those things that we might take for granted, people anywhere who've
yeah,
never heard true word or anything
yeah,
biblical, they were so hungry. We might take that for granted, but they're just hanging on to everything. So
yes,
that moment for me was so, even though it wasn't for me, it was with my husband at that time, was just a reminder that not to take those things for granted, because we might know them, but somebody else doesn't know the authority of the believer.
yes,
That one right there is enough to
yeah,
revolutionize anybody's life, to understand the
yeah,
authority that a believer has. When
yeah,
an individual understands that, then they're able to, you know, do a whole lot more than what just themselves could do, but understanding the
yeah,
authority that's backing them up. So I think that those types of things, understanding biblical truths,
yeah,
was so impactful for that one person to know who they are in Christ and the
yeah.
authority that a believer has.
Yeah, I love that. Madison said this in the last live that we did, and I just thought this was such a good perspective. She said, you know, we're reaching these unreached people groups, right? And I'm in Tulsa. So if you think of unreached person, you're thinking of someone who's like their grandma knew Jesus, but like they maybe haven't accepted it for themselves.
Mhm.
But when we say unreached people group, it means them and all of the people around them
Yes,
have never had the chance to even hear the name of Jesus in the context that we use it.
yes, that's true.
Those are the people that the people in Lebanon and these Bible colleges, they get to learn and then go.
Yes, yes, reproduce.
Isn't that good? Multiplication, that little X on the bottom of the screen over there. I just keep looking at that. I'm like, I'm ready to get on a plane. Let's
Yes.
go.
You know, it's quite, when you think about it, it's quite amazing to see what one person can do. When that one
Yes,
person gets the truth, they take it to the next person, where it's the multiplication.
yes.
It's life changing for sure, and you can see that happening. What's going on over there?
Yeah.
Actually, any person that we talked to when we were over there, myself
Hmm.
particularly, were just so open and so hungry, and just wanted, can I pray with you? Yes. I mean, with the translator, they said yes,
Right.
but
Yeah.
everybody was so open to hear anything, good news. They wanted to hear good news.
Yeah.
So
And if you ever listen to Matt Hadabah, I mean, if you hear the history of Lebanon, of Beirut, the oppression that they've dealt with over years and years, and the people are hungry and they're ready to be able to jump into an education and a relationship to be able to share that with their family, set their family free, set their friends free. I mean, it's so awesome. Julie said this morning, she was like, it's a literally an historical moment.
mhm.
This is the first Bible college in the Middle East.
That's
Do you
awesome.
know how incredible that is? And I know that I'm today, it's been all day long. I've just been listening to his lives and it is feeding me. I'm like, let's go. And for me, I love that we get to be a part of this, right? We get to be a part of a relational missionary movement, reaching these unreached people groups. That is incredible. And I want to make sure that we know that I love this too. I keep referencing to what Julie and Matt are saying, but it's just so good. Julie, she's the best at saying this. She goes, if you don't want to go, that's fine. Like, go send me. Her heart's like, Lord, take me. Let me go to these places. But the thing is, and I said this in the last interview, you giving, you could never go, you could never meet this person. You could pray and give, and one day you're going to go to heaven and you're going to meet
Right.
people you never met, and
Yeah.
they're going to come up to you and say thank you
Yes.
because of your gift, because of your prayers. I found Jesus, and that is
Yes.
the only reason they're going to be in heaven.
Yes. That's right. If you can't go, your resources can go.
Yes,
It's amazing. It really is.
I
Just,
love that.
yeah.
So today we're celebrating 29 years of ministry, but we're celebrating the fact that we're getting the first Bible college in the Middle East open in Lebanon. We have 90 students signed up. You know what that equals? It was 10% of the population. 10% of the Christian population will be at this school.
God.
Isn't that just incredible? Right. So we're doing scholarships. Club
Mm-hmm.
1040 is giving an opportunity. So by scholarshiping a student for $78 a month for 24 months, you are allowing this local to be able to go to this Bible college. And one thing that Matt Hadabaugh was talking about was, you know, the economy and everything. It's very expensive. I think he said it's one of the top 3 most expensive living countries in the Middle East, right? So if we can make a way that somebody can say, yes, Lord, I'm going to take the giant step to be obedient and go to Bible college and take away the fact that they have to get their money together and just let them go. That's the opportunity that we are presenting today and that we want to present to you guys. So right now we have 4.5 scholarships that have been accounted for, and we're so grateful. But we have 90 students out of 100 scholarships. We have 90 that said yes, and we're going to get all 90 funded.
Yes.
So if you want to be a part of this, there's a few ways you can do that. You can text Lebanon 1040 to 71777. This is going to prompt you to the page. It's going to give you all the information. You can do the $78 a month for 24 months, or you can do a one-time gift. So for example, like if you're a business and you want to sow one time, you guys, in literally any amount makes impact. Your dollar, your $10,000. So you guys can do a one-time gift, or if you don't want to give that much a month, you can do $15 a month for 24 months, or you could be doing $200 a month for 24 months. If you felt impacted today, I want you to consider that. All right. So if you guys have any questions, you can always go to club1040.com. You'll see the project Bible College Lebanon, and then there's some simple props to get you guys there. But Tonya, I miss you, and I have so loved this so much. And okay, so before we get off, remind me, you have a new podcast that you just started, right?
I do. It's kind of in the works right now. The official one hasn't been out yet, but it's coming soon. Yes.
What is that called?
AuthenticU.com.
Awesome. All right, Tonya, thank you so much for our time together today. I just treasure you, and I hope that you guys all have a great day, and we'll see you in the next interview.
Thank you.